My name is Antonio Pisano, and I serve as the CEO of the MAAC project. And as all of you know here, MAAC project is also the owner and manager of this property, Mayberry Apartments, and which was acquired back in 2003, I believe. So we've been at this property for about 8 years. But I tell you, I came to MAAC about 7 years ago. And this property has never looked better. Thank you very much for those of you, man. It's just incredible. I mean, this is a very, very nice place, a family place. This is what we kind of had envisioned when we were talking about fixing the place, getting it occupied. But the one thing that we have not envisioned, and I have to be honest, is that one day we would also introduce the whole concept of solar panels in this particular building. That hadn't crossed our mind. To be honest with you, we were concerned about just the structure itself, you know, the stability of the buildings, the habitability of the buildings. So going from that, and I gotta share this story, okay? Because it's, Maria, I don't know if you were here.
Yeah, I was here.
You were here. You were here when we were here fixing the place up?
Yeah, I was here.
So anyway, so we all came here on a Saturday, and it was kind of a volunteer day where we had asked staff and like the ladies from Casa de Milagros. You know, Casa de Milagros is one of the recovery homes that MAAC manages. They were invited to come and participate, and the idea was to kind of get down and dirty and go into those units and just had to do with just taking away a lot of things that were just kind of broken and kind of bad, from mattresses to kitchen cabinets that were kind of falling apart and stuff. And I gotta tell you a couple of things. One, I was working in one of the rooms in the kitchens with some of these ladies from Casa de Milagros, and we had one of those scrapers to scrape off the tile. And man, it was tough, man. I was like sweating. It was tough, really. And the ladies that were working around me, they wouldn't seem to get tired. I mean, I was like, do you all want to take a break? No, why? We're still, you know. And it's like, so I said, well, I can't give up, you know. I'm like right here in front of them. I mean, what are they going to say? So I just kept up with them. And that kind of gave me an insight as to, you know, when somebody says, let's clean this place up, you know, they really, really meant it. So then I said, well, you know, you know, I'm gonna get some water because I really need to. It was getting hot in there. So I went and said, I'm gonna try something different. So I went into one of the bathrooms, and I was gonna try to disconnect. They wanted me to disconnect this lavatory in the bathroom. So of course, one of the things that you do is you turn off the shut-off valve, right? Well, that thing was like kind of stuck. You know, it was like it wouldn't turn, like with the hand. So I got some pliers or something, and I broke the thing, and the water just started squirting all over the place. It's kind of like one of those movies, and I was, you know, you can't. By the way, it will not stop if you put your hands like that. It won't stop. You're just gonna get wetter, right? And there's no one to do, no one to call. Finally, it came out, and it was just completely soaked. And I'm sure some people were having some good laughs, but we got it fixed eventually. So you know, it's been a time where we've gotten in here. We wanted to get these places fixed up. We wanted to get them occupied, rented, and we did that. But you know what? When I say we did that, I mean we did. You guys did it. You did it. All of you. You know, you all had that part in making sure that this place was going to be the way it is today. So when we were approached by Everyday Energy to consider doing a solar panels on this facility, we actually thought, well, how do you put solar panels on kind of an old structure? You know, we're having a tough time with the roofs. We're just trying to fix the leaks and stuff. How are you going to put a bunch of solar panels on top of that? So when we learned that we can actually not only install those solar panels, but we can actually fix the roofs at the same time. And then when we further learned through Everyday Ready and the meetings that we had with Scott and his staff, that we can do it at an affordable, truly affordable cost. And that it wasn't going to be just MAAC that had to say, okay, here's a check, here's the money to pay. That it was going to be a true partnership between the state, between Everyday Energy, between MAAC, and you'll hear a little more about who did what and how this all came together. It's a true partnership. And the rest of the story you can see for yourselves. Some of you have been up in the roof. How many of you have been up in the roof? It's really quite an experience to get up there and to see how incredible it looks. I mean, it looks like some kind of, I don't know, science fiction type of setting, doesn't it? Like something from the future. Yep. Seriously, like, wow, and this, in today's present, so I want to, I can't even tell you how it felt when I went up there and I saw the panels already installed, when I saw pictures of some of you out there actually doing the installation, when I see that one of you actually is now working with Everyday Energy, when I get to see all that, it just seems like, this was really a true partnership, and it really did happen. And again, it wouldn't have happened without your involvement. So I want to thank you for all that you've done, all your work and your vision, and your willingness to kind of work with us and hang in there and make it happen. And I'm sure that just like what we did here, we're going to try to repeat it and do it somewhere else in some of our other projects. I'm sure Scott's already looking at other places in the state, and why not beyond. So I just want to say thank you for the opportunity, Scott. Thank you for the support that we have received from the state, and we're hoping to continue to do more. So without further delay, let me introduce pretty much the man of the hour, I think, Scott.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Scott Sarum, and I'm the CEO of Everyday Energy. We would not be standing here today if it wasn't for the collaboration and dedication to the MAAC program demonstrated by several individuals and several groups that are represented here today. As our first eloquent speaker represents out there, Antonio Pisano, the president and CEO of MAAC Project, was extremely supportive and, in my opinion, a visionary with respect to renewable energy and this type of a project for the MAAC program. This project itself benefits the tenants. This is 100% tenant benefit here at Mayberry Townhomes. And when you start looking at what the state has looked, kind of was planning, most of the projects they were thinking would go toward common area, which means the tenants wouldn't benefit. It would eventually lower the cost of operating the property, but there wouldn't be a direct benefit to the tenants. Well, Antonio thought differently of that and wanted to bring the benefits of solar to the individual tenants here. So they really felt it in their pocketbooks. And as we'll talk about a little later, it has a real financial impact on the folks that live here and on their day-to-day lives. Next, I wanted to thank the staff at the California Center for Sustainable Energy with working with us to make sure that, number one, this particular project was the very first reservation for MAAC in the San Diego Gas and Electric territory, and it was in danger of being lost. And so Agnes Stupak worked closely with us to make sure that we knew what the deadlines were, and we were able to structure a project in a way that it complied with everything that the California Solar Initiative required, so that we got it done on time and for the benefit of the folks here. So Agnes, thank you so much for all you've done to help us, not only on this project, but with all the other projects. Agnes has played she's the program administrator for the MAAC program in San Diego Gas and Electric territory, and has done an outstanding job of helping us through the process and making a viable business for the multiple family solar multiple family affordable solar housing program. And finally, I would like to thank the folks over at YouthBuild for partnering with Everyday Energy. It was just an outstanding partnership. And what they did is they partnered with us to do workforce development. So as you look at this whole project, as Antonio was talking about just rehabbing the project and getting it to where it was habitable, and then going the extra mile of putting solar here, Antonio introduced us to the folks at YouthBuild, and we were able to work with them to come up with a workforce development program where the participants actually were able to get hands-on experience working on solar, which really it translates into this new green economy we're in, and jobs that are actually relevant to today. So, and the great thing about it is there were 2 folks out of that program that we ended up hiring. And in particular, Hector DeReal over there has done an outstanding job. And as a result of his outstanding work, us at Everyday Energy, and with a lot of appreciation toward YouthBuild, have now we've now pledged a $1,000 scholarship for Hector to go and get his journeyman certificate as a journeyman electrician. So Hector will be going into an 18-month program to get a certificate. And it just shows that as the community kind of gets together here, and you know, as these projects come together, it's not just some solar company throwing a bunch of solar up on the roof. There really is a lot of benefits here. It's not, and the tenants benefit, folks that are willing to go out and learn and then actually apply for a job and show a lot of initiative like Hector did will have an opportunity to then get involved in this new green marketplace. And finally, my team at Everyday Energy, Chris Taylor, Andrew Carr, and the rest of the folks that work tirelessly on this project, I can't thank you guys enough. You've done an outstanding job. And I just wanted to give you a few statistics about this Mayberry project, because this is something we're truly proud of. First, when this was installed back in, when this was tied into the grid back in February, it was the largest project of any MAAC project in the San Diego Gas and Electric territory up to that point. So nothing this big had been done yet. And as Antonio was talking about, we also partnered with MAAC to put on a new roof. So the project was further rehabbed, and we were able to put a project that was larger in scope than any other type that had gone up to date. It will, as we said, it reduces the electric bills for all of the residents here. And it also has a huge impact on the environment. The environmental benefit of the system is a reduction in greenhouse gas emissions of 6,000 tons of CO2 over the course of 25 years. To give you a little perspective on that, it's about 1,000 pounds of CO2 a day that it eliminates from the environment, and it's the equivalent of planting 200,000 trees. So the environmental impact of what's gone up over here, again, doesn't just touch the folks here at Mayberry, it helps the environment. And again, the partnering with YouthBuild and creating workforce development has sort of helped change the way that us at Everyday Energy, the way that we approach our business. And so now, with all of the jobs that we're doing that are MAAC related, we are doing workforce development with each and every one of them, which means very similar to what happened here at Mayberry. We're getting ready to start on a project called Park Villas that is going to be about 470 kilowatts. It's a very large job. And part of the job, a very large part of the job, is going to be workforce development, where we're going to provide training, and we're going to commit to hiring at least 4 participants to be full-time staffers at Everyday Energy. Again, as long as they show the aptitude and I think the determination of folks like Hector. We at Everyday Energy, you know, we're experts at bringing these types of projects to life, and we really appreciate your participation here. And I want to thank all of you for coming out today, and all the folks at YouthBuild. I encourage you, and I personally invite you to come take part in what we're doing over at Park Villas, and look forward to continuing to work with MAAC Project and other affordable housing developers. And thank you very much for coming today. Without further ado, I think the exciting